Hi everyone, let's talk about Viticulture World, which I have just finished a full solo playthrough for, and quite recently, Rach and I did a live two-player playthrough as well, so you can see both of the new modes and two of the new continents, in this video, it's just what I think about it, if you're interested in that, but the action is all in the playthroughs, and you can check them out right now. If you're here now, though, I assume you want to know what I think. I love it. I love viticulture, and if you've heard me go on about things, which I feel like a broken record about, say Orlean Invasion, taking Eurogames I already absolutely loved and adding co-op into them while retaining, the core of the game itself. It still feels like its original game, but the co-op is a substantial standalone thing that is, depending on your situation, perhaps preferable to the main game. Rach and I absolutely love co-ops, and yeah, pretty much, I don't know if we've, maybe once, but generally, with Orlean, we've played Invasion. If it ever comes out again, which it hasn't for a while, to be honest, I don't want to make it sound like I'm always replaying things, but in terms of viticulture, yeah, we played through a kind of snail's pace thing, unlocking bits of Tuscany, how it originally came out in its separate boxes. I said in the playthrough, if you notice any kind of different things and strange things, I've got old versions of things that might be a little bit different in Essential. But basically, the core is all there. The planting the grapes, the harvesting, turning them into wine, fulfilling the orders, trying to get the help of visitors. Loads of that core stuff is still there, of course, but this... The central thing across the continents of all of your actions are potentially variable according to what you want to do. You want to try and innovate. The very beginning of the game says you should try and innovate once per year at least. But yeah, just being able to completely change the action. Sometimes it's just doubling it up. Sometimes it's adding a whole side benefit, like selling a wine equal to gain money equal to its value. Fantastic for getting a load of money, which you can then use to be training your workers, to be gaining influence. One of the conditions to win the game. It's unless event cards and some other way give you influence, you're going to be coming over to this space to pay 8 to gain an influence in its standard form. But the upgraded version of selling the wine is gain money equal to its value and points equal to half its value. So suddenly, trying to fulfill these orders and draw the right ones and make the right wines might not be as important as just making amazing wines and selling them for, it's rounded down, so the most you can get is 4 from one wine. But if you can, without needing order cards, keep generating 4 points every time you go to this space, absolutely fantastic. So changing the function of the spaces themselves, letting you ignore the limits in the fields, letting you do multiple innovations for one action and making them cheaper. So many different ways, and depending on what's going to come out in your game, it can really change the course of it. Like the very first one that we played, the first thing that came out was play 2 summer visitors. And if you do play 2, you get, I think it was 3 lira. So straight away, okay, well, I started with 1, so I'll draw another summer visitor. You get their hopefully decent effect and quite a chunk of money at the start of the game. And so then when you're drawing more things, you want to keep, well, I want to keep trying to play these summer visitors. You've got to hope that there's still massive decks of cards and there's luck of the draw involved. Although with the trading between players and between Buratino in the solo game, there's ways around that as well. In terms of what you produce too, if you're great at just making really, really strong reds and someone gets an order for that, well, you want to try and engineer a situation where either you place a grande worker where they are or the other way around so that you can trade that and you don't have to, give back exactly what you've been given as well. You can just give things as well. You don't have to trade. That's what I'm trying to say. And so there's that extra level of cooperation as well. There's already the whole planning thing of it's a worker placement game. We're limited to where we can go. So I want to do this and this. Okay then, well, can you do this in a different order so that I can go here and here? I actually, I haven't got my grande worker now, so let me do that first. And the order in which we pass, because the year-end stuff of bringing all of your workers back happens as soon as you pass in winter. As soon as a player passes in winter, all of their workers are removed, which is another thing of these spaces are available again. So can we make something out of all this now? Yeah, it was already, you know, a great, especially with additions from Tuscany, uh, uh, lovely worker placement game that can start out quite basic and end up, you know, really, really, with, like, we haven't even played with the kind of extra board and the like arboriculture and stuff. So many extra things from that we have never got around to yet. Oh, and this is also compatible with the structures expansion from Tuscany too. Yeah, it just works so beautifully. And yeah, so just with that core thing of upgrading the spaces and then the ovals, you know, you're so limited to where you can place stuff as you are in viticulture, but then putting these ovals down, suddenly any number of people can go there. You might be unlocking a handy bonus for everyone to just get points or get some grapes or even get some wines, or, you know, pay a cost to have to upgrade a really good space that loads of people probably will want to use. And then that incentivizes going there with your grande worker because they're trained right from the start, or your temporary worker if you've got that bonus, and getting the extra action of that space. But even opening it up to as many players can go there as possible is a huge thing, which adds the kind of the tweak to training. You know, everyone starts off with 4 workers and their grande, but they're limited, 2 in summer, 2 in winter. Training them gives you that freedom and also more chance to unlock the bonuses from the spaces. The events, I haven't played all of the continents yet, especially since I need to practice and get better for maybe the harder ones. They come actually, the rules give you a listing in terms of their difficulty level, but if you check out some of the designer diaries and the Board Game Geek forums, there is a post that kind of lists the thing that they're kind of good at. Of like, one of them is like a co-op inside a co-op. I haven't tried that one yet, but that one sounds the coolest. So yeah, you can play them that way as well, depending on a thing that you really like. Do you really like tech trees? Do you really like powering up your workers? That kind of thing. So loads of variety in that, and as well, like I was saying, just for the Asia one that I used for the playthrough. For your first game, it recommends use the cards 1 to 6 and do them in order. But in future, the Asia deck has 8 cards in it. In future, now that you know what this is, shuffle these up and find 6 of them. There will be different cards, they'll come out in a different order. It will change that game up, even if you were just playing that. And on top of that, you've got you won't see all of the innovation tiles, and they will come out in a different order, and you probably won't get to buy them all anyway unless you're really on top of all of your money. It just works so beautifully well, and there's so much in. Basically, it's a load of new cards, but this whole co-op system is so good and works so well. And so Automa Factory are back, not with Automa, who you play against in Viticulture, and Automa takes spaces away from you, right? Takes occupies worker placement spots to make things more difficult for you. And so Buratino here is there not to work against you necessarily, gets a nice income of money, 3 per season, and can use it, gets a free innovate and a free influence action. Not free, they can go there without placing workers, but if they've got the money to spend to do it. But the kind of flip side is they will get in your way quite a lot, actually. So that then incentivizes you to maybe hang on to your grande worker, upgrade these action spaces that are going to be most important to you, because you don't know where Buratino is going to go. They're going to go before you and block these spaces off that, especially early on before you've got loads of these upgrades out, can really, really mess you up. And so that's the kind of flip side of, do you want to spend all of his money getting innovation tiles, or do you want to save that money because he can pay, well, you can make him pay to take his workers away so those spaces are available. So that is a whole kind of extra dimension to what will I actually be able to do? What do I need to get done? And kind of working out, as in the multiplayer, I've got just enough workers to do all of this if we work in this particular way. But Buratino adds that obstacle of, he's just going to block a load of spaces off. He's going to block 4 spaces each season at the start of that season, and you don't know where, so don't leave it. Maybe needing, if anything but these 4 spaces is free, I can't do anything this season. Don't leave yourself in those kind of situations. There are a load of difficulty modifications if you want to make the game harder, like innovating is cheaper in the solo game, but you can just take that away if you want it to be made harder for you. And you can make it easier by the restriction of having to change the spring bonus every year. You can just take that restriction away if you want a little bit of an easier time, and keep taking something that's most useful to you. Yeah, it works really well. I say that's like, maybe it's just because I need to get used to it more and be better at it. But yeah, it managed to do a great job of completely messing me up. But as I said in the playthrough, at least once that I did that, I had put myself in a situation where if 2 of the 3 spaces that I needed were blocked off, I just couldn't do anything in that season, and that's on me to not leave myself in that situation. But yeah, I've enjoyed it more so far, but I've played it more multiplayer as well. I've enjoyed it more multiplayer, but I really appreciate it. Like, it's having something so simple that does the solo. That's, you know, solo in co-ops is like, it could work playing it two-handed. I do wonder how doable that would be with just 2 players, like, with a lot of cards and a lot of things and a lot of possibilities in the trading between us. You know, trading with the bot is good for being able to modify your types of wines. You could just get really good at making one particular thing, and as I did in the game, okay, well, I'll make a really great red, and then I'll put my grande worker, trade with the bot, I get to age it and turn it into like a champagne that usually would have taken 3 grapes. So there's a good economy you can work out there. They have a card of each type, so you can be swapping between these things. I wonder if I would enjoy, like, you could definitely plan out the workers more if you were playing it two-handed, and but even the logistics of doing that by yourself, I think, would start to add up. And yeah, although it does frustrate me at times, like he's meant to, I imagine. Yeah, Buratino just keeps it really, really simple. It's got cards that you can trade with. You can give him money, or he can give you money to be able to afford that extra thing. It's just another great thing on top of, I think, just with the multiplayer, it was an amazing experience. And yeah, as I said at the beginning, it's a kind of thing that's made for me, really, isn't it? I loved Viticulture. I love co-op games, and I've loved it in the past when great Euro games have turned into co-op experiences. And yeah, Viticulture World is just it'd be another example up there with Orlean Invasion when I inevitably go on about more games doing this for the rest of time. I'm not saying every game has to go co-op, don't worry about that. You know that though, right? You're the real deal. Thanks for watching this though. There's loads more playthroughs and stuff on the channel. You can watch those if you like. I've done 2 for Viticulture World. Have you seen both of those yet? You can see the other one. Thanks a lot for watching this though, and I'll see you for the next game. Bye everyone.